All right, cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Welcome or welcome back to the Mama Saga, where this Marvel 11 Mama is a mother and lawyer, legit since 1998 by day, but breaks down comic book sagas, movies, and shows like She Hulk, Attorney at Law by night. So, as a lawyer and a longtime fan of She Hulk. I'm super excited that tomorrow on August 18th, 2022, is the day when episode 1 of She Hulk Attorney at Law drops. Just like I did with Miss Marvel, I'm going to have a live stream breakdown on this channel on the morning that each She Hulk episode drops. And I'll give you the deep dive on the Easter eggs, the themes, the predictions, and so forth. I called quite a few things right for Miss Marvel, so I can't wait to see how well I fare with my predictions and Easter egg spotting with She Hulk. And since I'm a lawyer, the good folks at Marvel Studios did say that, sure, you were going to have Marvel superhero style action in this series. You were going to have comedy going on in this series, but it's also going to be a lawyer show too. So it's worth noting that, unlike a lot of other Marvel theorists, I'm a lawyer and I was a litigator down New York City in the Bronx for nearly 18 years. I'm still a lawyer today, but I'm completely virtual as of late 2017 for health reasons. So I cannot wait to see all the different types of legal cases and issues that pop up in this series. Before I forget, if you missed out on my recent video, She Hulk's Conflict of Interest, you should check it out. Let me drop the link here. Okay, just a minute. And you should note, back when the episodes were supposed to be dropping on Wednesdays, in that video, I mentioned that the episodes were going to be dropping on Wednesdays, but recently and wisely, they made the decision to drop the She Hulk episodes on Thursdays, since down the line they'll also be dropping episodes of the Star Wars Disney Plus series Andor on Wednesdays. Say what you want about Miss Marvel. I like the series, by the way, but Marvel Studios didn't do Miss Marvel any favors by dropping her episodes on the same day that they were dropping the Obi-Wan episodes. So it looks like they learned their lesson. They can pace themselves. It's okay. Am I right? In that recent video that I dropped, I did say that August 17th would be the first day that the She Hulk episodes would drop, but they've recently changed it to August 18th. And again, that's pretty wise. Okay, so let me just set this up. Here's the deal. They've already changed a few things from the comic book saga of She Hulk, which I personally don't mind. But I did cover her law firm, Goodman, Lieber, Kurtzberg, and Holloway, and some backstory about that firm, how it operated, why it was important, what storyline involved her partner, Holden Holloway. So if you missed my recent video, Who Does She Hulk Work For? You should definitely check that out too. And yes, I pinned my playlist for all She Hulk videos that I've done to the top of the live stream, and I'll make sure it's pinned to the top as the top comment when the replay gets posted too. Okay, so let me post that link now. Really quickly. Next, I definitely did a huge review of some of the earlier trailers, and one such video literally makes the case for why, given what I've seen to date, I think that the She-Hulk Attorney at Law Disney Plus series, and the main message, you know, is that instead of having She-Hulk be some lost, aimless piece of green eye candy, or having her act like some emerald colored cheesecake pinup from the 80s, right? It seems that Marvel Studios is committed to having her be a confident woman who's finding balance between her personal life, professional life, and now her superhero one as well. So if you missed my video, why the She Hulk series is an upgrade, you should definitely check it out to get a woman's perspective on the character and a female attorney's perspective, no less. Okay, so let me post that link. And I'll make sure that all of these are in the show notes as well once the replay posts. Okay. So to me, the most important part is that She-Hulk is no longer just a bimbo, okay? I'm not sure if you ever checked out, oh, I don't know, any of the She-Hulk comics that were put out in connection with She-Hulk years ago. But oh boy, back in the past, She Hulk was really just comic book cheesecake with so much gravity defying curves going on that it was like she was the comic book equivalent of a Barbie doll, like lawyer themed Barbie or something. She didn't come off like a real woman to me. Three-dimensional. She was kind of coming across as like a two-dimensional kind of goofball bimbo who was super promiscuous and or cavalier, really, depending upon which comic you were reading, about life personally, professionally, or both. If you were a straight female back in the day, like me trying to read any of this stuff, you were literally like queuing up the proverbial eye roll, and feeling like they did poor She Hulk dirty. And for a time, they did. Sure, She Hulk was strong, but she was also often scantily clad. And sure, She Hulk was a good lawyer, but sometimes she didn't take her work seriously. Sometimes she did, sometimes she didn't. And I'm an attorney in real life myself, so I can say this. It was clear that lay people were writing these comic book storylines because honestly, attorneys have a very hard boiled, stressful life when we're burning the candle at both ends. We're caring about our clients because our successes or our failures affect their very lives, whether we're civil attorneys like I was or criminal attorneys. So the bottom line is that many of the Disney Plus trailers for the She-Hulk Attorney at Law series show how capable Jennifer Walters is, how much faster she's conquering the skills of being a Hulk than even Smart Hulk, the Smart Hulk version of her cousin Bruce Banner, thought she'd ever do. At one point, She Hulk says, I'm clearly nailing all of these things. And she is. All while keeping her clothes on or without romping around in a ripped up bikini. Defeated, Bruce says, if you want to go back to life as a lawyer, I respect that. Back at work, her boss, Holden Holloway, doesn't just assign her cases and bust her chops. She doesn't get fired like she did at one firm in the Marvel comic book saga for making photocopies of her green butt at the office. Oh no. In many of the She Hulk Attorney at Law trailers, her boss specifically wants Jennifer to serve as the face of the superhuman law division. I love how Marvel Studios has Jennifer Walters owning her power to the point that she's telling others in a superhero support group that she absolutely owns it. Like when she says, you know, that friend you had in high school who was way cooler than you were, attractive, got the attention from everyone. Hello. And she gestures to herself confidently. She Hulk first appeared in Savage She Hulk #1 in 1979 and was created by Stan Lee, who kind of left She Hulk for dead afterwards. But there was also John Buscema, and David Anthony Kraft stuck with her for a while too. You had around that time the Hulk television series that was a big hit, and so She Hulk was created to ride the coattails of that success. But the lights were on and no one was really home. So that first run wasn't very successful. It's clear that they really didn't know what to do with her as a female comic book character who was the lead or the namesake of her own comic. One thing that David Anthony Kraft did that resonated with women back then was weave in the storyline of how difficult it was for a woman to balance both her personal and her professional life. Okay, the superhuman angle being part of the balancing act was pure fantasy, but the rest smacked of reality to female readers for sure. I recently did a video entitled She Hulk versus Daredevil, Who's the Better Lawyer? And part of that video details how well the She Hulk did with that balancing act versus Daredevil, who really did struggle with it. And of course, you know that Daredevil, also known as Attorney Matt Murdock, will be joining Jennifer Walters, also known as She Hulk, in her own series starting tomorrow. So let me drop the link to that video so that you have it really quickly. And again, these will be found in the playlist that I have pinned to the top. If you haven't subscribed to me already, make sure that you do, because we're going to be doing live reactions, and I love community participation starting tomorrow, August 18th. Okay, so anyway, it's super important to note that in the second comic book run for She Hulk, that was the one where she was predominantly depicted and shown as more of a sex object and a joke to boot. Sure, she tried to be funny, but to me, as a female reader, I felt she was the brunt of the joke a lot of the time. And after that, it was kind of like Marvel didn't know what to do with her. She was part of the Avengers and even the Fantastic Four for a time. John Byrne did some character development for She Hulk. That was nice. She broke the fourth wall, which happened even before, Deadpool did it. The folks at Marvel bounced her around some more. She had a storyline that was a ripoff of the World War Hulk storyline. Gosh, she didn't even seem, to rate her own unique storyline almost at all until Dan Slott gave the Jade Giantess her due as a lawyer, struggling with hard cases, challenging scenarios. That was where we got into superhuman law. And as the She Hulk series continues to unfold over the next 9 weeks, I'll work some of those storylines and my legal analysis as a lawyer into those videos that I'll publish to my channel. We'll go live every single week as each episode drops. Like I said before, with my theories and any Easter eggs I've spotted per episode, and I definitely want to hear from you, okay, too, on what you found and what you think as each episode drops. I can't help myself. There's another video that I did about the biggest Easter egg that I've spotted from one of the most recent trailers. And I'm telling you, this has everything to do with the Dan Slott emphasis on the character and where the series may go during season 1, or if it's approved, season 2, or at some point down the line in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's literally called Attorney Reacts to She-Hulk Trailer GLK&H Commercial. And I'll put the link in down below. She-Hulk's career is most definitely going to go places you wouldn't ever imagine. And it will impact everyone from earthbound superheroes to cosmic entities like the Celestials, even super powerful beings like none other than Eternity and the Living Tribunal. I'm loving what they're forecasting, like what they're going to do with the She-Hulk. It seems like they're culling out all of the good from her past comic book saga and leaving out any of the, shall we say, not good content. They're going to elevate She-Hulk above anything she's ever been in her comic book saga. What do I mean? It's already been said that She-Hulk will definitely factor into Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. So it's not like she's going anywhere after all 9 episodes of her Disney Plus series drops in 2022. Anyway, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe to the Mama Saga for more comic book saga breakdowns, salty mama style. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe.